honorably, with kindness and gentleness, let those boundaries be for you first. Let them see your boundaries. I'm going to skip this. Sarah Edwards had 8 kids, and she just was a great mom. I love this in bold. She carefully observed the first appearance of resentment and ill will in her young children, showed her displeasure, and suppressed it to the uttermost. Her main role as a mom with young children was dealing with the sin in their life. And she never raised her voice once, and her kids followed her all the days of their lives. Show him always that you have command over yourself, always calm and considerate. Nothing will make him see it better than your patience and humility. Watch, I love this, watch for a fit moment for several successive days, if necessary, that you may properly time a correction. Do not tell the child his fault without adding some means by which he may get the better of it, which will encourage him to do so. For we should avoid the discouragement which arises from dry correction, and we should never tell him many at a time. I love that. Wait for several successive days if necessary. It may take that amount of time for the Holy Spirit to work in your child's life. I remember I came home from a conference, and I buy a new pair of shoes once every about 5 years. And when I buy a pair of shoes, I'm on my feet all the time, as you can see, and I've got to buy some nice shoes. And I don't know why I have this psychological problem, but when I buy a new pair of shoes, I don't want to wear them right away. I keep them in the box, and I'll put them in my closet. And I'll just wait, for when I really am going to need them for the right occasion. And I came home, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to wear these to the next conference this week. And I went up there and opened the box, and there they were, completely destroyed. Scuff marks. It looked like someone had played football in them, and a stone driveway. And I thought, I'm like, and Jonathan now is gone. He's now married. And so my oldest, the younger son, David, is still living in our house. And I said, David, do you know what happened to my shoes? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I go, did you wear them for football? He goes, actually, that's what I did with them, Dad. He goes, the youth group had a football game the other night, and I didn't have any other shoes to wear, and I was wearing those shoes because we were at a formal banquet at the church, and he goes, and we started playing football right afterwards, and I had those on. He goes, well, is that any big deal? Yeah. $150 pair of shoes, David. They're ruined. He goes, well, let me see, Dad. He goes, they're not that bad. Now I'm really ticked because he's not owning up to his irresponsibility. That just drives me crazy. And so now, David, what's wrong with you? If you want to wear something of mine, you first of all, you don't just take them out and use them. You call me up and ask me first. He looked at me and said, Dad, are you done? No, I'm not done. You ruined my shoes. Hey, Dad, I'm not going to listen to this. And he turned around, walked away, and closed his door. And I'm thinking like, this is a repeat performance. I'm right back to where I was with my son Jonathan, with David. It's like, what am I thinking of? I am doing exactly the same thing. And God has that, isn't it just like God? He had to pick on the shoes. I could have done other things, but he had to deal with the shoes. He deals with the idols of our heart. I had to wait a few moments. I said, David, would you open the door, please? I want to. No. Hey, David, I don't know why. I just acted like a jerk. I am so sorry. Would you please forgive me? No. I understand you have every right not to forgive me right now. I'm just really, really sorry. I said, but I do have something that I think you want to hear. And now see, he's hearing my voice. It's gentle. It's repentant. And he opens his door. And I said, you know what I just realized? You needed my shoes for that formal because you didn't have a good pair of shoes yourself, did you? He goes, no, that's why I borrowed them. And I did call you up. You were speaking at a conference. You didn't answer the phone. I said, I'm really sorry. I said, would you please allow me the privilege of taking you down to the mall right now and getting you a pair of shoes? I said, because you need a pair of shoes. He goes, no. He says, let me just use yours. He says, you get something like that. But see how reconciliation takes place with humility? It works all the time. If we frequently necessary to tolerate things which ought to be corrected, until the moment shall have arrived when the mind of the child is in a state to profit from the correction. Never find fault with him in his first emotion or in yours. If you do it in your first emotion, he'll perceive that you're governed by mood and impatience, and not by reason and friendship. You will lose, without resources, your authority. If you reprimand him in his first emotion, his mind will not be sufficiently free to acknowledge his fault, to subdue his passion, and to weigh the importance of your advice. It is easy exposing the child to lose the respect he owes you. You know, I think we have misunderstood the spiritual teaching of spanking. You know, when I was a young parent, our senior pastor, that's all he could think about was that spank them, they'll not die. You know, beat them, they'll not die. And then I started really reading through the scriptures and finding that, you know, spanking really only occurs in the book of Proverbs. And whenever you take something out of one book of the Bible and make a doctrine out of it, you're always going to have error. You see, there's another teaching about punishment in the Bible that works far better than spanking. It's called stoning. And stoning is 100%. Think about it. If we're going to use corporal punishment from Proverbs, then we really need to use the whole Old Testament, and stoning's part of it. So let's start thinking about our punishment. You know, maybe if we take the whole Bible, and by the way, most of the stoning, by the way, was probably for a 40-year-old child and above. Someone that was a glutton, wine-bibber, and was abusing his parents. Those were the ones that were really stoned, not young children. But for punishment, I can't say this more. Punish for only purposeful disobedience after mercy's been exhausted. Jonathan came into my bedroom one morning with a Mach 3 razor in his hand. Coming right at me with this razor, saying to me, now first of all, it was early morning, I was getting ready to go to work, and there is this, my son, who's now 17 years of age, and he comes into my room with this razor, and he goes, "Did you use this? Did you?" And I just looked at him and thought, yeah, I did. That morning I had used the other bathroom because Debbie was in ours, and I noticed it was sitting there on the sink, and it was this Mach 3 razor. I saw them on commercials, you know, and I'd never tried one before, and I just thought, this is going to be awesome, you know, and it was the best shave I'd ever had. And I forgot to rinse it out. And so Jonathan saw the evidence that I had used it, and it was his. He bought it with his own money. So there he is in my bedroom. He comes bursting in, holding the razor up at me, going like, "Did you use this?" And I smiled, and I said, "I did. This is not yours. This is mine. I bought this with my own money." Do you know why he's venting right now? The reservoir still hasn't been emptied. There's 15 years of abuse by me, of controlling and dominating his life. He has an opportunity at this point, seeing that his father did something, violated him. Okay? His father has been caught with the goods. And now he is going to take every opportunity to vent on me. And that's fine. He's not hurting me. He's not doing anything illegal, immoral. He's not hurting anybody. He's not really coming after me with a razor. He's just showing it. And I said, "I'm so sorry. I should have asked you first. I saw it there. I never used one before. John, I had to use it. And I'm really sorry. I should have asked you. Please forgive me." He's going like, "Boy, you frustrate me." And he just burst out of my room. And I'm thinking like, you know what's amazing? That was one of those rare mornings where I was really walking in the Spirit, and I wasn't upset at all. It was like, I violated something that was his, and you know, I need to pay the consequence. And I'm going to go buy him a bunch of razors. He doesn't know it, so that he will know that if I ever use it again, he'll have some spare. So I'm out going to the office, and I'm getting into my car, and all of a sudden he comes